Hi everybody, this is Chris Carlson back with another installation of SBA relief webinars. Today we're talking about how we actually calculate the SBA PPP forgiveness amount and how we qualify for the easy form. We're now actually going to concentrate on the easy form, which is the much easier way to actually get what we need. So we're going to share some files here and look at our format for actually doing this. So we're going to calculate PPP forgiveness on the easy form, and you don't have to do it yourself. We have actually automated for you. Yes, there are 6 steps you have to do, and you have to get your payroll reports, and you probably have to get your bookkeeper to help you. However, it is automated. You don't have to do manual calculations. We have done it for you. So we are now going to go into calculating the forgiveness amount. And no, we're not doing it that way with hand calculators anymore. We're doing it with laptops, computers, and Excel. So that is how it's being done these days. And it's not the most elegant, but it's elegant enough. And it is a copy paste from payroll reports into Excel. And it's done. Now, that also means that we need you to get with your payroll company and your bookkeeper today. Because if you wait, as we said in one of the previous webinars, there are 4 million plus small companies that are going to get past their covered period before the end of the year. And somewhere between October and the end of the year, and it's going to be a crush on payroll company and bookkeepers. So the sooner you can do this, get with them, get it set up, then the better off you are. So how do we do this? It looks complicated. It isn't, folks. I promise you. I'm going to show you. But the first thing we do is to determine what is our amount as we go. Because now, as you know, you can do this anywhere between 8 and 24 weeks. You can apply for forgiveness. And also you want to track your progress as you go. And this allows you to do this. So here we are. This is what it does. We start with the expense tracker. And this is where I'm going to show you how this is done. So we have our little handy Excel sheet here. Here it comes, slowly but surely down. And we're going to do this. So this is the first thing we do. We have our company. We're just going to put in the name. We have our friendly home services company. And we got a PPP loan on 4/20/20. And we are now in our 9th week. So we're going to put in 9th weeks there. That's what we are looking at. So that would take us to the end of the covered period at 6/21. Remember, we can do anywhere we want to between that and with 8 and 24. So, however, 4/20 was when we were funded. That's not practical for us for a payroll period. We would have to do a lot of proportional, take out half periods, those kind of things. Don't want to do that. So we're going to start it on 4/27, the beginning of the next payroll period. So here's 4/27/20. That's when we are starting our covered period. Remember, go into previous webinar when we talk about the PPP easy form and what all this means. It's in there. We're covering all that in a previous webinar. Covered period is when you calculate all of your costs that are going to be forgiven. This company got $973,000 in a PPP loan. They also got $10,000 in a grant. So there we go. So now we're going to look to see what are the expenses up to this point, and we have it in a little handy dandy format here in expense tracker. So here we have done it, and I just wanted to start from zero for you guys. So here we go. This took the controller not very long to do at all, 10 minutes or so. So here we are. We have, through 9 weeks, we have $488,000 in payroll costs. And you see when they are, you see here out on the side who we pay the money to. And here is PayNet is our payroll vendor, and these are the other vendors for what we have. And that we have the support and all those things. And here we go down, and you're going to see here at the bottom what we have. I promise you it's there. There we go. So at the end, at this point, we have 9 weeks here. That comes from above. We have $488,000 of payroll, health insurance, 29 grand, state and local payroll taxes, 12, almost 13,000. We did not do any retirement contribution. Shame on us, but we didn't. We have, I can't see it myself because my mug is in the way. So here we have interest on mortgage and other things, mortgage interest payments for trucks, etc. Rent and lease payments of $240,000, which is wrong. I happen to know we had to correct that, so I'm going to go up and actually correct that somewhere along here, because that was only $90,000. We made a deal. And the utilities, 14,700, and those are all the ones. And then in addition to the out of the payroll there was an owner, and let's call him Bob Allen, 56 here. And he did make more than 100,000 last year, so he's capped out at 100,000. So that gives him 20,833, the maximum. And again, there's another webinar that covers all this in the series that we have here on what are those factors. Here we just do the mechanics of this. So we have payroll costs at $509,000, and we have other costs of $245,000 for $755,000 total. So that means that the payroll cost is 68% of the total forgiveness, which is more than it has to be. It's 60% max, 60% minimum, sorry. Projected now for 24 weeks. See here, we have 509, 755. We borrowed 943. We want that. So we can now see that the projected out is $1.359 million. We are going to be okay at the end here. So here we go. We're going to go back to, now we know that we are okay. So we're going to go back here and see, are we eligible to use the easy form? Or are we going to have to go through all the things that you have to go through for the big form that is 11 pages long? And we hope not. And how do we do that? Well, here are the instructions, what you have to certify also, and say that we have to fill out one of these boxes to say that we qualify. If you can do one of these boxes, we can use the easy form. And as you can see, there's a lot of verbiage here. I'm not going to read it all. What we have done is actually to ferret this out in a easier and automated form. So you can see there are 3 boxes. Box 1, are you sole proprietor? If you are, check this box, then you go directly to the end, which I'm going to show you later. Well, I'm going to do that now. You go directly here, and in this box here at the $509,000, you put in the amount, because as a sole proprietor, you are deemed to have your loan as a replacement compensation for yourself, and that's now forgiven. So for the rest of us, unfortunately, people who are not sole proprietors or independent contractors are in this category, we now have to go on and see, do we qualify in either box 2 or box 3? So what do we have to do that? We have to see, did we or did we not reduce the compensation to any rate of compensation to any employees by more than 25%. We're going to have to figure that out. And that is between the covered period and the first quarter. Did we or not? And if we did not, then we also have to look at, did we reduce the number of employees between the last week of the covered period and the week of 1/1/20? When I say week, I really mean payroll period. If it's 2 weeks for you, then it's 2 weeks. So then also, did we decrease the average hours worked per week in this period of time between last week of the covered period and the week of 1/1/20? And if the answer is no, then we can look to check that box too. If the answer is yes, then we can also see, well, what happened? Did we have any employees that were employed on 2/15/20 that either we could not, that we laid off, that we could later on not rehire or not replace? We couldn't find the people. We have to document that. But if that's the case, and the same with hours, and for example, if we had somebody who we cut down the hours for in the crisis, and they thought, then I like being part-timers, I don't want to go back, we can document this, and we can take all this information about employees and hours and build that back into and decrease the hours and employees in the week of 1/1/20, so that the last week of the covered period more easily covers that. So if we can do this, then we can do box 2. Now, box 3 is the same thing. Did we or did we not decrease the rate of pay by any employee by more than 25%? The answer is no, we did not. So then we also have to, in addition to that, we also have to say, well, were we also unable to operate at the same business level as prior to the crisis because of what HHS, Health and Human Services Administration, CDC or OSHA told us we could do or not? If we did less revenues and that was part of the reason, then we can check number 3 and go on from there. So let's see how we actually do this in 6 easy steps to easy form nirvana. We are going to do that, my friends. So here we go. First, before we do that, I am going to show you, we are getting this information from our payroll report, from our payroll system. We went to our payroll company and said, this is what we need. We need employee name, we need what they made in any given period, and we need the hours that they worked. And those periods are week of 1/1/20, week of 2/15/20, week of, the first quarter this year, the covered period, which is now 9 weeks from 4/27, and the last week, the 9th week of that. So we got all this information from our payroll company. Turns out that the best report for this for us was actually to get that from the workers' compensation report that they have. There's more in this report, but we don't need it. We need the first 3 lines here. So now we know where this is coming from, and all we need to do here is actually copy and paste from here into our sheet. And eventually we'll get that out of there. Okay. So now let's get our whole format we have for actually track this. It's pretty neat, folks, so hang with me here. So the first thing we'll do is we'll go in and look at our first form. This is what we have. Came from the expense tracker. So we know where we are. We know that we are at a place we will be forgiven, but we're not quite there now. But for the sake of actually doing the calculation, I want to do this. So let's see what we had in terms of payroll for the covered period. So here in this yellow field here is where we download the payroll. So I'm going to just go into our covered payroll here, where I show you from our payroll report. I'm going to copy and paste. Okay, could be faster. Oh, come on, there we go. Okay, so here are our revered employees. And now we're going to go over and do the hours and their earnings for those hours that they were working. So here we go, there, and here, pasting that in. We copied it, now we're pasting it in. Okay, now we're going to go to 215 and do the same thing. So I'm going to go to our payroll reports. I'm going to go to our employees. Going to copy, and I'm going to paste that in there, and then I'm going to paste in the hours and earnings, and our 6 steps are almost done, folks. Go there, and then we go there, and here's our pasting, and let's go to 1120. And go for 1120 and pick up our employees we had on the payroll week of 1120. There we go. And as you can see, we had a lot of Bob Allens back then too. And then we're going to do the hours. As you can see, I'm not fibbing you, we're doing the hours here. So there's download the hours and earnings from the payroll reports. Go, put it in the right place. We copied and now we're pasting. And now we're going to go to the first quarter. We go to the first quarter in our payroll reports, and copying that, and copying it there, and then we're going there and copying that in. We are pasting it into our handy dandy sheet. Now we have only one left, and that is the last week of the covered period that we need. And I'm going there now. That. There. Now we have your employees. Now we want to know how much did they make and how many hours did they work. And we are copying that in, and well, there we go. Now, hopefully this works. We have the forgiven form, go easy. There we go. Let's see what this meant. Let's do that middle a little bit smaller. So here, we are saying that we have no wage reduction, and that's coming from the calculations over here. One of these lines here. We have any wage reduction, we're coming down here, and there are no wage reductions here. So we are good to go, no wage reductions on this. And that is what comes into this go easy form here. That's a calculation from what we did. There are no wage reductions. We don't need to worry about that. Let's go and look then for box 2. We had 30 employees in the last week of the covered period. Luckily, we're seasonal business, summer business. So even in this environment, we had 5 more than at the turn of the year. Terms of hours worked per week, we have 1,247 versus 959. No, we have no reduction. We can actually put in yes in box 2. We qualify. And now, just for the fun of it, let's look at box 3. Same there, we had no reduction. Nobody got paid at a lesser pay rate than what they had in the first quarter during the covered period. So now, what were the revenues? So we had May and June. And no, we had May and June. By now I could do June, had to do a little bit of forecasting, yes. And we did about $2,150,000. That's not exact, but it's about. And last year we did $2,465,000, I think it was. So we had a revenue decrease. What happened here? Well, in this case, actually, HHS told the military that it's not a good idea to actually do all this home services at this point in time. The DOD issued a no service order unless it was an exceptions due to guidance. In effect, we were halfway shut down, and that's about what the numbers actually reflect. Not quite, but there are times here. It was better in June, and May was not as bad as we thought it would be, but it's roughly what we're talking about here. So what we can see here is that we qualify. Actually, both box 2 and box 3, and here we are forecasting that we're going to get 100% forgiveness. This is, folks, what our handy-dandy calculator is telling us, and this did not take much more than 10 minutes, and that's the last form that we have. Okay, don't forget to go in and look at the previous EC form webinar that we have on the site that goes through the payroll periods, the what is actually forgiven, what goes into it, and some other interesting things around this. So again, folks, thank you very much. Appreciate it, and have a good night.